You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Oh yeah! It's the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It's finally here. It is 7 p.m. on the 27th, the day of the release. And it's finally time to dive into this adventure. The game we never thought we'd see released in English. It's one of those games that we all kind of went through and poured through. Just took in the grateful hard work of so many great translators and streamers and the like over time. Poured through the game, translated it, put gameplay online using translated guides, and all that. Just for us over here in the West to experience this game. And now, what a world we're living in, where we finally have it. Released on Steam, on the Switch, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is both 1 and 2 of the Japanese 3DS releases in one product. I'm poking around here. We have accolades we can earn, so achievements. Handy little medals. Completing. Playing the game in all available outfits. We'll get to that. Having rung your hands through every debate about ladders and step ladders. Very important. We'll be getting that. Ooh. The Herlockian. Ah yes, Herlockian. We'll get to that. Portraits, moving pictures. Ah, this is our full, I think we'll go through the... That's interesting. I think we'll go through this a bit later on. But of course, our special outfits. Only available for use in The Great Ace Attorney 2, so okay. We won't see them until then. Bonus episodes? Credits? On that note, let us begin. Sequel, 2017. The original, 2015. I say we dive right in. I suppose first, if I get the time, I want to try and put in little bits of actual historical context in here, but I'll give you the primer based on what my understanding, bits of research here and there. Now, there's a lot of historical context to this game's setting, and I wanted to take this moment to try and give a more reasonable explanation than the attempt I did live in this video, with only vague memories of the facts in the back of my mind. So, it's generally presumed that this game takes place in the early 1900s, I believe. But one thing you'll hear mentioned pretty soon is the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Amity and Commerce, which was signed in 1958, which first really opened up Japan to trade with the British government, the British Empire. So, opened several cities in Japan to British commerce, brought in a representative from the British government, and began trade. See, for a long period of time, Japan was closed off from outside influence. The Sakoku period of the Japanese Tokugawa shogunate were closed off for over 214 years. And of course it was ended by the United States. That's what we do. And the Convention of Kanagawa was signed. Under the threat of force, it was the first in a series of unequal treaties with Japan. by outside powers. So, US forced Japan to sign the Convention of Kanagawa in 1854, which essentially opened some port towns in Japan to American vessels, and America, having to be first, established a consulate in Japan, ensured the security of castaways and the like. But this was, in fact, forced upon Japan, and the westernization you'll see throughout this period of time was essentially forced on Japan, and is described as a defense mechanism. And the Convention of Kanagawa and the Anglo-Japanese Friendship Treaty, which followed it a few months later, really what prompted the eventual rise of Japanese military might, and what really is the cause of a prevalent mood you'll see here in this first chapter from some certain people, that Japan feels subservient to Britain because they did have a bunch of treaties and trade agreements forced upon them around this period of time. It's not to dismiss the fact that this led to their own rise in military might, and this led to them imposing their own will on countries around them. Say Korea. In the early 1900s, we had the first Sino-Japanese War, I believe. But yeah, Japan turned out to be their own brutal military power in their own region after US and Britain came a-knocking. That's enough for now. Here's a little history break. Let's begin the game, shall we? I'll spare you that for now, because my thoughts aren't completely collected right now, but besides, we have more important things to do. Begin. Oh good, the video's captured.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
The Adventure of the Great Departure, Episode 1. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glass, murderer. Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now here I am, waiting my trial. That's enough. Uh-oh. He's not obligated to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, No, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm really sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. But I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! You have to believe me! I didn't do it! I could never murder someone. There's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. Also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyways. The qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you're representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. Not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. It's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple, making his headband flutter in the wind. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then, partner. Asogi. My dude. It was straight after that. That's what had happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Ah. Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi. We should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yeah, thanks, Kazuma. Oh, this is awkward. This is awkward. My thoughts exactly. If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikitoba, Professor of Forensic Medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikitoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. It's I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked, never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as a defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. No point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. This trial goes badly. Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. Let's do this. Oh. So this is a courtroom. Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of these people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time, but for now, you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. Where'd you come from? The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. God, it's so great to hear this music in practice. To be able to actually be here playing this. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Oh wow, I got lots of save games. Got lots of save games here. Holy crap. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikitoba told me everything, just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. I think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikitoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel. Really?
Objection!
Love that objection. Make no mistake, counsel. This really shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Is that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. I'm radiating confidence. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standard of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes! Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But... wait. Oh, I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of E. E. If you find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. You just have to press E. For the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. E. This is a list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you've done, just press Z to go back. Okay, so we have touch. Kazuma Asogi, second year at the Imperial Yuma University. He's my best friend, and despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well. Yujin Mikotoba, medical school lead professor at the Imperial Yuma University. He's an authority in forensic medicine and Kazuma's mentor. Takatsuchi Ouchi. I probably butchered that. The lead prosecutor of this case, who would appear to have little love for the changes that Cultural Reformation has brought about. And finally, John H. Wilson, victim of this case. Was a visiting professor of medicine at Yuma University for the British Empire. Now, I believe it used to be John H. Watson, I recall. Then again, something Sherlock Holmes license. Things change. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People section of the court record, then press R to present. Try it now.
Yes!
Yes. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yuma University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. Yeah. Oh, I didn't remember them going into that. But, hell yeah. That's a real thing. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yuma University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides you education. Have you no honor? I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow, then, partner. I must go now. My home planet needs me. British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table. And as introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Cause of death? Obviously, that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. Space to examine. Victim John H. Wilson, male British. Time of death 19th November, shortly after 2 p.m. So that's single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound, bullet did not pass through the body. Alright,
Yes!
present. Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it? Yeah, sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. I can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. Photograph. Entered in the court record. Shot from the front in the chest and subsequently died. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's completely superior to a drawing. The detail's incredible. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, I want to better appraise the court with the facts of the case. The prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This time, baby. Date generally accepted as the birth year of practical photography was 1839. So I can imagine it would take a fair amount of time before it disseminated. Became, and just started to be introduced. Ah, this is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly, you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Got my voices backwards. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you could give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Can't help it. My headband is perpetually blowing. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Ooh, you right, bro? Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me.
Well, it really should. As everybody knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of those district's so-called restaurants. Occidental Eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Also, Naga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir.
And no petty interjections for the aspiring lawyer boy, please.
Perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of the day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied.
That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in that place.
It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor. I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
Oh, what an objection.
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what they saw, you amateur. What?
Next time you interrupt at any inappropriate time, you will be penalized, defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryunosuke. I'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here at court today. Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student.
Wait, did he just say?
There was no one else around that table? What's the matter, Ryunosuke?
That's just not right. I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello. There was a woman sitting opposite him at his table.
Really?
That's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do?
I honestly don't know. I'm honestly not sure where this autosaves, too. Okay, interject.
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
We shouldn't have interjected.
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw.
Also, Naga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone.
I don't believe it.
I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant, as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. A sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a, turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone.
clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? I've been completely calm and collected until now. Oh, something certainly seems to have shaken him. Big time. Waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. So... Court has now heard a precious of this case. Precious of this case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant. The only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. But seeing we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. I must warn the defense. We are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think you should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Would it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual about these peculiarities. You've said it, Professor You've said it. Professor Mikitoba said it. So is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Or are you just going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Aoichi, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Oh. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. Bam. Prosecution calls its next witness. Is plural. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. Okay, we just auto-saved. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. Great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesunosa reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the effervescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Curio Correcuta at your service. An antique dealer, a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table, the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer. It sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with a rich clientele. Right, I see. I totally got all of that, Asogi. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of the most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the fort in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearms, sir. This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. Oh yeah. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Yeah. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Stand by, ready to report, sir. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. Oh, yeah. The witnesses saw. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a technical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At the precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian. For the back, the cowardly little weasel. I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of the mysteriously absconded precious curio. So why are you here then? Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. What times we live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. And when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, just as I was picking it up. Bang. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ryunosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now! As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It's time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestiges of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this trial. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? I mean, the Prince. Demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me. Let me guess. Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. did he know? He probably overheard you. Prosecutor objects. This is a clear waste of time. Bennett obviously has no experience. How could he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Though, Kazuma's so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies of the witnesses' statements. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what the soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yeah, but just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you. Slap. Alright then. It's all or nothing. I love the desk slam versus the slaps. It's a nice touch. The commanding presence of a lawyer can desk slam appropriately, while the virgin Naruhodo can only desk slap. Judging regulation peace staying in the restaurant, having a technical discussion with the old man. How do I press? Sorry,
Yes!
press. Why? Why didn't you say anything? Is this some new interrogation technique? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then, this beefsteak you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Attention! Ah! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Oh. If food could receive medals of honor, beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet. Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that? Attention! Ah! Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed with breadcrumbs and deep-fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it. Yes, sir, I will, sir. On the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but how about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Disappointed Asogi face. Oops, sorry. I'll do my best. So, next question. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a sort of crying noise? Negative. Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Prime Presser, our first achievement. Fine golden curio.
Yes!
I have no idea what you're talking about. A koban, boy. A koban? You mean an old Edo coin? Edo coin? A day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day with said items secreted in my bosom pocket, in the hope of an affluent cognizant appraised of its indisputable value being present. So, you were hoping to sell your Koban coin? The sergeant knows it. We met at the restaurant. Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing your precious Koban. Isn't that so? Well... You little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespect to the superior officer to your list of crimes, do you? Blatant subordination. No, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might be just the word I was looking for. In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. A gentleman aside me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect. I see.
Yes!
So, you're saying that you actually saw me at that time? Ah, affirmative. I saw you. Laughing, cackling like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on an English civilian. Slap. But this is impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please. What's that, Private? Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table. And so what if it was? Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment when the killer actually fired the gun. And double ah! And one more for good measure, my sixth sense. Sorry? My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, Cadet. I don't know what I'm doing with that voice. I feel like he's becoming more and more Wayland from Advanced Wars Days of Ruin. Surely that's not really possible, is it? Do you think I'd have got where I am today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son? Well... It would seem this soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good. The black uniform varsity kid fired me and wished to back the counter, weasel.
Yes!
So this black uniform university cadet, you're saying that was... I've had just about enough of your sauce, Cadet. Who else do you see around here in the black uniform, Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well, but... It was you, you little weasel. You unloaded the firearm on that man. From behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great empire of Nippon. You disgust me. What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. It's something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. If you find an inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Present the evidence to the court. Thrust it in the witness's face and make him choke on it.
Yes!
Interesting point, but on your hands and knees? Could you explain that, please? That's right. Spurning the arthritis I was in order to retrieve the lost piece. What lost piece are you referring to? The Koban, of course! The exquisite Hoei-era Koban coin! I had just been showing the rare treasure to the military man as he masticated his meal. After averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished. Hence I began to acquaint myself with the intricacies of the floor in order to locate it. And then it happened. For the gunshot, you mean? None other than... Oh, it was no concern of mine. I was frantically scouring the floor for the aforementioned lost treasure. So, in fact, you didn't actually witness the precise moment when the incident occurred. Indeed, myself, I did not. Oh, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Listen, Ryunosuke. We know there are lies lurking in these statements. It's time to expose them. I understand that. The question is, how? Like I said before, the keys to this is using evidence that you've collected. You can examine and present evidence while a witness is giving testimony by pressing E. Go through each witness statement and the details about each piece of evidence and compare all the facts. Somewhere in there, you'll find something that doesn't add up. In other words, an inconsistency. An inconsistency. When you find a statement and a piece of evidence that seem to contradict each other, present your evidence with R and rip the witness apart. Just be careful, because if you assert a contradiction that has no basis, you'll be given a penalty. If you've dealt too many penalties, the defense's case will fall apart, and you'll receive a guilty verdict. So that's it. Peruse the evidence in the court record, and find an inconsistency with the witness's statement. Alright, I'll give it a try. You can hear the witness's statements over and over again as many times as you like. So keep your head, and be measured in your attack. Good luck, partner. Thanks for the pep talk, Asogi. From the back, the coward little weasel. E. And can zoom in further. Oh, again. You can actually click and slide evidence. I like that. Bullet fired at post length, close range, halo hemorrhage, pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound. Shot from the front in the chest. I think this is what we actually need. I feel like we might actually... Oh, this is interesting. We can... Entrance, kitchen. That's handy. Alright, I think we're going for this, so let's...
Yes!
Let's do it. Did we actually just do it? What are you playing at, cadet? What does the meaning of this subordination? Touching some photographic print in my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. Slap. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What could this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I don't really want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. So frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Oh, Asogi theme. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Iesa Nosa. Do you get the pun there? Iesa Nosa? Yes sir, no sir? Yes sir, what sir? You just said it. The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes sir, affirmative sir. This is the cry with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because. Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah! Sergeant, according to your witness statement, culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Oh, hello there. What? What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Noza? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carte Vente steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Noza, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. Ugh, that's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Oh! Yeah! It's been a complete turnabout in the mood of the trial. Just from that one discrepancy. This is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there, he was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. Oh, baby, get back down there. I was far too busy on the floor. Oh, yeah, you were looking for your Koban coin, weren't you? Indeed, the prized Hoei-era Koban. Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with fighting my absconded Hoei treasure. Nothing could distract me. Nothing. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt, some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prized coin for himself. As I'm sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. The government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, this witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels, it must be the British. It would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Aoichi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fed a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. Eyewitnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there's only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. He will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as cuticle glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Waiting signal to testify, sir. Oh. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think? Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido. Attention! Your father's about to quell the enemy. Oh, watch and learn, my boy. Oh my gosh. He's adorable. Precious. Look at him. True culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the fire was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was. That young man and lad in the back. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. Well, that's interesting.
Yes!
Test boys are certainly... Wait! That's nonsense. Victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It's evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Indeed. The table at which the victim was dining, taken by the investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there's only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. Carbonated water and a steak lunch can be seen on the victim's table. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. That's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw one woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. Witness testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. Think that I, Takatsuchi Auchi, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How could this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here, behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth, in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. True culprit. We'll proceed with that next time on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Until then.